Welcome back to another video, everybody. This is Scotty, and today we're revisiting Decked Out as we're going to go over the card reader and how it works. I thought of many ways of how to do this, and the main problem is how compact this is built. It is extremely hard to move around in here and show you how everything works. We got blocks here and there, just and redstone everywhere. I could try to describe how to do it in here, but I felt best that'd be better to do this in a testing world. So let's go ahead and switch over to the testing world and give you a better idea of how this worked. So here we are in a testing world with the card reader built again, but this one is spaced out a little bit more and without all of the walls in the way, so it should be easier to see how it works. We start off with a basic item filter over here, and of course with the subscribe block in there. So when you place in a key, it will move an item between these two droppers here and then turn off the door. So let's go and place in a key and show you what happens. The doors are now open, and it will also send a signal up here, moving an item out of this dropper down to the bottom one, which will then unlock this piston. Let's go ahead and place a shulker in here and show you what happens next. So this bottom hopper is locked, so it's not pulling out any items. If we go behind this, we can show you how to unlock it. So this torch is actually locking the hopper, and it's controlled from the buttons. When you press the button, it will turn it off. The line comes down and goes underneath, and then locks the hopper. When the shulker goes through the hopper, it will send a signal this way, which will then come this way, unlocking the door and turning on the game. Then it'll come this way, come up, and then move the item back to the top dropper, and thus locking the piston down. It'll also send a pulse this way, down here, which is to turn on all the soul flames and loot boxes throughout the system. So you press the button, it'll come in here. Now these are extra, they're not actually in the real build because this is all the way over here. Okay, so what do we got here? So when an item comes in the bottom dropper, it'll send a signal around, which will then dispense it. This hopper here is locked by this torch over here. So therefore we'll pull out no items. And this is unlocked by this torch here, which is controlled by this torch up here, which is triggered by this comparator. If there's an item in the shulker, normally this block would be down, so a signal could come through. So there should be an item in this top dropper here for that. That's what else this line does here. So when it sends a signal, it will go through this block here, moving this item up. Let's go ahead and do that by hand. There we go. Now it's back to where it belongs. So when it senses an item, it'll send a pulse through here. So it comes in there, turns this here off, turns off this torch, which will then unlock the bottom hopper as well, sending the books around. Okay, can we get to the other side? Now over here, when a book comes through the bottom hopper, It'll send a signal this way. That torch is for something else, which we'll get to that later. And then with this timing here, we'll send a signal this way. And then we'll get one pulse from here, triggering this, coming up here, into here, moving the item back down to the bottom dropper, turning this off, and thus locking the bottom hopper so no other items will be removed. Okay, now when you press the button, it will come up here, it will activate the piston, as well as this pulse extender over here. And this pulse extender will send a signal down here, down again. Like I said, this is very complicated to navigate even with the extra spacing in here. So the block will come down here, and it'll head down here, and turning off this torch only, so only the top hopper is unlocked. The bottom one is still locked by this torch. So the shulker is then sent over here. The comparator sees it, sends a signal around. And then this here will send the signal over to the prize wheel. And then down here, triggering the 5-minute countdown, which will then trigger this bottom box here, resetting the game. So that is the complete overview of this. Let's go ahead and give it a try. And hopefully it works. So we already placed our key in, so the door is open. And our shulker box is here. Let's go ahead and press the button. Shulker goes down, goes through. It pulls out 5 books. And it's sending them back up here. Yeah, this torch down here is reading when there's items in this bottom dropper here. And it sends an item around here to space them out evenly, giving times for the card readers to read everything, and then sending them back up into here. So all 5 books are back. We can press this button, and now moves over to this dispenser, triggering our 5-minute countdown. But it looks like I wired this wrong, because this line shouldn't be on yet. It should turn on after 5 minutes. So we need a torch right here. So now that's the way it should be. Okay, let's go ahead and just reset it and try again. Let's get our item. There we go. And take our shulker. Everything is locked, back to the way it should be. And this one is up. So let's go ahead and take a key out of here. We'll place it back in the top barrel. The door is unlocked. All right, the piston is pulled up. We send it around. It has withdrew the 5 books. Lock the hoppers, sending them back around. That should be all 5 books back in here. We finish the game. The shulker gets moved over to here. Our items get dispensed, turning off the torch. And then we're good to go. Then after 5 minutes, these items will despawn down here. Let's go ahead and grab them. And the doors will close, thus completing a complete run of the game. Hopefully this helps you better understand how the card reader works for the Bedrock replica of Decked Out. Thank you for watching.